I cannot wipe on me and tie my hair back. Oh, I think I heard myself.
You did. Welcome to this week's episode of the Beyond Nemesis podcast, everybody, and thanks to Dr. Doom for that follow. Sweet name, by
Hey,
the way.
thanks, Dr. Doom. Dang.
Yeah. And anyway, I'm one of your hosts, MayorReynolds.
I'm the other one. I'm Jadai.
And
And a completely unrelated topic, because I wanted to get this out of the way. I do not expect anyone to tell me happy birthday tomorrow, Mayor. It is my birthday. I will be turning a solid
Tomorrow?
28 years old. Yeah, tomorrow.
Sweet. 28.
Do not tell me happy birthday.
28. That's not bad. I mean,
shut up, Mayor. How old are you? Like what? 42?
Yeah,
Not even that old.
I'm 35. 28 was pretty good for me, I think, if I remember correctly. So
Yeah.
I think that was early on, like the first year or two after I met my wife. So things were going good.
That's awesome. No, I'm 28 right now. I'm not even at my peak yet. I've stopped going to the gym. I just eat candy on like a regular basis now.
Goblin mode activated.
And I'm planning on spending my entire night up until like probably 5 a.m. playing Elden Ring.
There you go. You know what's funny? I always say that this is like people are 42. Yeah, I'm not 42.
He's 43.
Yeah. And I'm halfway up the mountaintop, but what's that Doc saying that he says? We're at the tippy top of the mountain, but we're still only halfway up.
Oh, we're only halfway up.
Yeah. I always say that one of my favorite, and this makes me, I don't know if this makes me like a super nerd, or I don't know what this is, but
you're doing a podcast and you've got G Fuel and like a bunch of other gaming related topics in the back. So yes, you are a nerd.
No, what I'm about to say, I mean, so speaking of celebrating holidays and stuff with video games, my like the only positive New Year's Eve memory that I ever have, not the other ones are like negative, it's just like kind of neutral. I spent on New Year's Eve, and I don't know if there's any classic World of Warcraft players out here, but this was obviously a long time ago. It was a classic World of Warcraft days, and I was leveling my first character, and there was this like long cave with like hundreds of hostile mobs in it to get to this like final leveling. So you weren't supposed to go this way, but back in the day, it was like everything was, cob jobbed. So anyway, me and this other dude fought through this furball cave for like 3 or 4 hours, like late at night on like New Year's Eve, while everybody else was out like partying, like watching the ball drop. Me and him were like in one long chain combat event, like kiting like hundreds of these stupid like big bear things that like chase you through this just to get. It was so stupid, but I don't know. I'm always gonna remember it because that's how I spent New Year's Eve that year, was running through this furball cave. We got a raid.
Is ring already won?
Monkey.
But no, I'm excited to finally get a little bit more into Elden Ring. I just beat that dragon guy who's like a giant, and he's like underground in the Isles of
what level are you?
I'm gonna call it Isles of Asia. I think I'm like level 60, like level 36 right now.
Okay. Isles of Asia. I don't think that's what it's called, but
it's not. No, that's not what it's called. But I'm just gonna call it that anyways. The Isles of Asia. There was, well, it's like where you could go down, and there's like this one little opening part where you get to see the scarlet fog everywhere, but you can't go down. And then like there's this big ass like wasp thing that shoots these like crystal purple rocks at you.
I don't know if I've done that yet. I can't remember. I'm level 52, and I stopped playing like 3-4 weeks ago. I just started playing again. I got super depressed because I got stuck doing the quest to get the Berserk armor, the armor inspired by Guts from Berserk, and I just got stuck in the quest, and I was literally just like so depressed. I just stopped playing.
You're like, what's there to do now?
Yeah,
there's a game after this.
Yeah, I know. I got like literally first class problems there, but Anyway, did you take the day off from work tomorrow at least?
No, I can't do
Oh,
that.
oh,
Yeah. I'm just such a
adulthood.
valuable asset to work. Like they can't do anything without me. Like God forbid they learn how to tweet on their own. I mean,
Or
like that's probably
change
what's
their
gonna happen
AOL
tomorrow,
password.
right? Well, no, we have a whole entire like one pass for that, so it's just like it's all group shared. But no, I'll probably end up just chilling tomorrow. Honestly, I do have plans later this week to go down to Corpus Christi and go see some friends. We were originally going to go see a metal show for the Devil Wears Prada and Beartooth, but tickets were like extremely expensive, and I'm honestly not in that kind of market to kind of spend that type of money. So we're just going to go down, see some friends, watch Sonic, the second Sonic movie,
Oh man,
and
I
just
can't wait to hear your thoughts on that for real. I got to remember to put that on the agenda next week.
I'm excited, man. I
It made
really want to see
70
that
million
movie.
bucks opening weekend, which is really
Nah,
good.
it's not bad.
No, it's not at all. That's a good, like Morbius by comparison made like half of that, and it probably deserves less.
I love how Jared Leto's just become the new Nicolas Cage
He's
of actors.
dude, Nick Cage has like totally redeemed himself though. Nick Cage is like two of his last three movies, his current, like his most recent movie that comes out this month, no joke, is at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. And Pig, his big movie that came out last year, most people think he got snubbed for an Oscar for that because like it's at like 98% on Rotten Tomatoes or something. It's like he's
Mhm.
really he's picked his projects a lot better the last few years.
I think I'm like the only one who never really like disliked Nicolas Cage though. Like I feel like people treat Nicolas Cage like they treat Nickelback. Not exactly awful and like not the worst thing imaginable, but like it's kind of like goofy to support them
Well, I
at
think
the
his
same
problem
time.
was and his new movie is he in his newest movie, he literally plays Nick Cage. He plays himself. And it's like a literal storyline. Like it's like a meme of his life. He got in like really bad debt in real life. So for
Mhm.
like there was like 10 years there or 5 years where he would literally take like anything because he needed the money so bad. He would just take any role. And now like he's done some really good movies recently. Like Color Out of Space, he's really good in. Mandy, he's like it's really good. Like some weird like indie like psychological sci-fi horror Lovecraftian stuff in there. That's pretty good, really.
Did he talk about why he went into debt? Did he like end up buying too much Superman and Johnny Cage stuff?
Yeah, he I
Johnny
mean I
Cage,
can't
Johnny Cash.
I can't speak to this like with 100% certainty, but I'm pretty sure he bought like a whole bunch of like stupid memorabilia. Like I think he paid like $50 million for like one thing at one point. Like
Jesus Christ.
yeah. I don't know. It could be who knows, gambling, bad investments. I don't know. But he seems like he's
Drugs.
doing much better now.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't heard a bad thing about him in a long time.
Yeah.
But no, I still stick by what I said. People treated him like he was like part of the Nickelback band, and like I like Nickelback. I'm not gonna
Oh no.
like jam them every single day though.
Oh God. I I, I don't want to talk about Nickelback. You like Nickelback? There were oh no, we got betrayals forthcoming in chat. Oh Jesus.
Those are your betrayals, man. Nickelback was never bad.
Yeah, they're bad from the
It's just
get go.
they're so easy to make fun of. Honestly, I don't see why we don't make fun of bands like Skillet more often.
I cannot name. I can't. The reason I don't make fun of him is because I don't know a single thing about him.
So Skillet made the Spider-Man 3 song, I Need a Hero. You've probably seen the commercials for it. No, there's
No,
no way you haven't heard that
I
song though.
remember
Like
like
that
Puddle
was
of Mud, and I think back to them, and I'm like, they should be made fun of.
people who listen to Puddle of Mud should be made fun of. I don't
Yeah,
think Puddle of
that
Mud have
too.
actually done anything cringeworthy.
That too.
But Skillet in particular, has been like super awkward about a lot of things. Like
Terrible name
they'll
for a band, by the
super
way.
super weird. A really interesting band. They've got like the male vocalist who lays out some pretty cool like vocals, but they've also got like an Asian singer and like an Asian female drummer. It's like the most random assortment of rock and roll at the same time, but they're like
It works,
they're
man.
super boomer. They're like super Donald Trump. And they make fun of like all the bands like I listen to and like all the other the bands I listen to talk a lot of crap back to them. So there's a
I
band called Dance Gavin Dance where they're just like, shut up already. Like no one cares about your boomer ass band.
I ran into a big, I shouldn't say a big problem, like first class problem today. So Nine Inch Nails is one of the last bands that I like want to see like on my like bucket list that I haven't seen already. You know,
Mhm.
and they don't tour very often. Like I mean, Trent Reznor's like if he's not, I think he's got to be in like his early, if not mid 50s. Like he's getting up there, and he does a ton of like movie soundtracks and stuff. Anyway, so I've been waiting and waiting, waiting. They announced the tour this year with like only like a dozen shows or so. There was none in the Northeast at all. And anyway, I bought tickets to go see this other band called Royal Blood, who's really, really good. And anyway, Nine Inch Nails announced a show in Philadelphia today, like out of the blue. And I'm like, oh, sweet. Like, I got to go to this one. Like, this is mine. And then, like, it's literally on the same date that I already have tickets to go see this other band. And I'm like, what are the literally like 364 other days like they could have picked? And I'm there. And I'm like, they picked the same exact date that I already have tickets to a concert. Like, what are the chances?
It always be like that, man. It happens like I think they intentionally do it too. They always do it to like the most random like dates and locations too.
Yeah, it's
I
pretty
got really
soon,
lucky.
too. Like a
I got
month
really
away.
lucky. I almost didn't make one tour or one show that's happening next Tuesday. And like I was trying to buy the tickets, but they sold out, and I was like, dang, that sucks. And the reason why I missed it is because they announced it on like on a day and date that like it's just super random. It's just them and like another band. It's like a 2 show performance. Um, so I was like, what the heck? I got lucky. My friend was like, hey, I have 2 extra tickets. I was like, dude, how much? He's like, free. And I'm like, God.
$3.99. All right, I guess we can talk about video games and tech this week.
I'm not done talking about Nickelback though.
Okay. Well, we should have a weekly Nickelback. You know what? This is so random. We're never going to get the games. So I was interviewing developers like on a pretty regular basis for a while. Like, and when I don't even know how this started. I'll do it again someday. I would ask every single one of them, and this was a long time ago. But it's going to have even better context now. I didn't even think about it. This was like 2-3 years ago. The final question in the interview would be all gaming focused, and then I would ask them, do you or do you not agree with this statement that everybody should steer clear of anything associated with Will Smith? Like, I would just pull that out of nowhere. And like some of them would like laugh and like, like, or some of them would get like really defensive, like, wait, like what's wrong with Will Smith? Like he's got some good movies, and like they'd get really to see the variety of responses was really funny. And then now that the whole freaking Academy thing happened, I feel like asking people that question now, everybody be like, oh yeah, screw that guy, like it's totally different.
That guy's a dick.
Yeah.
I really like Daniel Radcliffe's response to it. It was like I didn't read the actual thing because the headline literally told it all what we need to say. Daniel Radcliffe responds to a question, what do you think about Will Smith at the Oscars? And he goes, I'm so incredibly bored and tired of people asking that question.
That.
Can we move on?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, thank you, Daniel.
Yeah.
You very extremely subpar actor.
Yeah, I mean, the only movie, it's like a video game movie, basically. What the heck was that movie where he had guns literally nailed to his hands?
Swiss Army Knife Man.
Swiss Army Man. No.
Yeah, no, I swear to God. Yes,
no,
it was.
No. That might be a different one. It's not. He had literal guns bolted to his hands.
Oh, gun. Okay.
He was literally a video game developer. Like that was the plot, and like these weird like
guns akimbo.
Yes, and they literally like bolted these guns to his hand, and it was this weird like it was like a real life battle royale, basically. Like all these characters or people like were kind of like Hunger Games, but in like modern day, and it was like random, and there was viewers. There was like millions of people watching this tournament where these random people had to kill each other. It wasn't bad. It really wasn't.
It didn't look too terrible. It kind of looked like
mediocre.
Yeah,
brainless.
It didn't take itself too seriously either.
No, not at all. The main song was the Meat Spin song, for God's sakes.
I will say I like Daniel Radcliffe and Lady in Black. The Lady in Black. It was like a horror movie, like a little thriller that I think it was his first movie after Harry Potter.
I've heard him associated with the Wolverine role going forward. I've heard some people call for that. Basically because he has a lot of body hair, I think.
Unrelated Wolverine, I thought about it the other day just randomly. I'm like, I'm so stoked for that Insomniac Wolverine game.
Yeah, I know. That should be great.
Yeah.
I hope they don't hold back on violence.
I hope it will also come to PC because I'll buy it both on PlayStation and PC.
Me too. But Spider-Man hasn't came yet, has it? I don't think it has.
No, it has not.
It seems like it has to.
No, 100%. I agree. I'd imagine that maybe Insomniac just isn't as big of a studio to like accomplish that. So maybe they're like passing it off to like those other studios that
Sony just needs
got
to
bought up.
have other people do all those PC ports. There's tons of studios that can do those types of projects, like just port
Mhm.
PC games. It's easy money. Like,
I do find it like both kind of disappointing, but yet understandable that like they don't expand their studios to work on both at the same time.
yeah,
But we see that on the Xbox side of things. It's just like it either works or it doesn't.
yeah.
So I know like Coalition when Gears 5 came out, PC Gears was like really busted in a lot of different
Oh,
ways. Um, MCC didn't launch with it, but that was like a long
MCC was
going
busted
progress.
everywhere.
Infinite wasn't busted, but like in terms of just like quality, it wasn't like
Xbox was
that
better. Yeah.
console. Yeah, understandable again, but like, dang, it'd be nice to have those games like release date and date, rather
Eh,
besides like
to,
waiting.
to have, yeah, definitely. Yeah, Sony needs to embrace that.
Yeah,
Um,
I will. I'll probably end up buying Uncharted out here pretty soon, actually, for my PC.
I saw
Because
Speaking of Uncharted, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I saw a bogus headline the other day, and it was Uncharted to arrive on PC and Xbox, and I was like, this can't be right, you know. But I was like, maybe they're bringing the Uncharted collection, like maybe Sony is finally. And I clicked, and it was the freaking movie. The Uncharted
you
movie was available on Xbox to watch
just got Rick rolled, dude.
for real, but it was like a legit website, and I was like, this was such a terrible headline. Like, why would you do this? All right. So we actually just previewed like half of our topics for tonight. So I wanted to start with Prize Halo. So it's really it's Halo, but it's about more than that. So this past week, 343 made a bunch of announcements. The third episode of the show came out. Flood Firefight came to Master Chief Collection, which I think is super sick.
ODST Flood Firefight too, like
Yeah.
not like Reach version of it, but like ODST. I think ODST was the best firefight in my
Yeah, for
opinion.
sure. And I think that new content coming to classic games is one of my like favorite parts about modern day gaming. Like a lot more games are starting to do this and I love it.
Mhm.
Um but they also announced a Halo cookbook. And fans across the internet like literally raged about this. Just like Tor 343 a new one for announcing this thing. And I just wanted to discuss it a little bit and kind of get your take. My opinion was this thing was likely not worked on by like anybody at 343. It's not like they sat there and took time away from Halo Infinite to put a ton of time into this cookbook. This is like a stupid little side project that somebody gave approved. Frank O'Connor approved it, and
Food
but the
porn is
whole
what
the
he
whole
approved of.
community flipped out. Like literally, like Reddit was like all across the internet, Twitter, Halo Twitter, which is like so offended by the existence of this thing. And I just, what do you make of it?
I mean, like, it doesn't matter that
Yeah,
it exists. It really doesn't. And it just like it keeps showing like the gaming community continues to show its true colors on how uneducated it is on like literally any business, any marketing strategy, any product development strategy. Like there's a lot of people who must be gamers and like flip a lot of hamburgers to not really understand the takes that they make.
yeah.
Like I can get it. Like I don't have Halo Infinite installed on my computer anymore, and I would like to play a little bit more. Should there be more
Season
content? I'm in the
two
same
soon.
season 2 soon. I'm stoked for that, but like I would still like to play it. Like
Yeah.
I planned like my entire year to literally play nothing else besides Pokemon and Starfield
Hmm.
and Elden Ring. But like I was just like, dude, it's just a freaking cookbook. It's not the end of the world. But understandably, they lose their shit, and I I
Something
get
that's
embarrassed. I get
that's
embarrassed, honestly.
that's I'm starting to get
On
really
both
bothered.
sides.
Yeah, I'm starting to get really bothered by like I know people have talked about this all the time, and not all the time, but like, and it's gamers seem to be like the worst at it. Like, anime fans are really bad too, but like these like this, I call it, and I'm sure it's been called this before, like toxic fandom. That they just get like so like like hung up on like wanting to be negative and wanting to tear down this thing that they supposedly love. And I get the frustration when something that you love isn't going the way that you want it to, or it's, falling from grace or whatever. But like, it's just so disappointing because like, for me as a Halo fan, like I've wanted Halo to like, kind of like come back and return to form for like a long time. And I know the Halo Infinite content lull is frustrating. Believe me, I'm not thrilled with this show right now. But it is a success, I think, in terms of numbers and people watching it. But it's just like I don't have a problem with anybody's opinion, but like people getting set off by like any little thing, and it's like, you know, and not just related to Halo. It's any community really can do this. It's like, shut 343 down, kill Halo Infinite. It's dead. Blah 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 blah. And it's just like, I don't know why there's no answer to this. It's a rhetorical question, but like, why are gamers so freaking like the world is collapsing at all moments, no matter what is happening? Like, I don't get it. I really don't.
I think I can answer. I think it's like the true core audience of gamers are clearly fed up of like being treated as a consumer, as to where like in the past it was like, I want to say before the year 2012, everything after that is kind of like this new consumer capitalist version of gaming that we're in, this very Hollywood structure like version of gaming. Before that, gamers were just treated as like a first come first serve like service model. Like I would say that confidently, because it was just like, here's the game, here's the product. If it's broken, you know, the most that you'll be able to do is kind of wait for it. Like social
Mhm.
media wasn't super duper like explosive with gaming at the time. Like if
No,
social media and gaming existed before the year 2012, it was quite literally just like
it was
early stages of memes.
mostly wait
Um,
for like the article on IGN or GameSpot or
yeah,
whatever to tell you what was going to
yeah.
happen.
So it's just like I can kind of understand where like those older generation gamers are just kind of like, you know what, this is extremely lame. For like almost my entire life, I've been treated as this kind of very authentic, very unique customer, and now I'm treated as like a number in the system.
I
But I'm giving too much benefit of the doubt because I know that there are very younger people too who I think get caught up in just talking just trash. I think they
Yeah.
like doing that. Like to your
I
point, people just love being mad.
I hear what you're saying, but I also think we're extremely, as gamers and consumers of any media for that matter, movies, anime, we're extremely privileged to have so many things to choose from at any one time. So like, my whole thing is always what I tell people is like, look, games are supposed to be fun at the end of the day. Like, if you're not having
Mhm.
fun playing something, go play something else. Like, there's a million games out there, And like, I get people are like, I paid for this, I paid for that. There's a million really great free to play games out there too, including Halo Infinite's multiplayer, by the way. And I just like, I get the frustration. I totally do, because I air my own frustrations all the time. But at the same time, there comes a point where like I no longer want to like just rag on something. Like I either
Mhm.
want to just either like move on or contribute to my love for it at some point. After my frustration has been vented. Um,
With Halo 2, it's just I think what's happened is that 343 has taken in too much feedback and has been too, and I mentioned this before on previous podcasts, is how transparent can you be until it becomes like way too much where you have to like stop because
yeah,
they're no longer being transparent, because all of NCC, they were like an open freaking book about quite literally everything. And like they even owned it. They're like, yeah, we weren't prepared to launch
we
this.
screwed up.
They had a whole ass documentary about it. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, we messed up on Halo MCC. And then now with like Infinite, it's just like, now what's the secrecy behind it? We know that you screwed up.
Yeah.
So how can you be transparent
Well,
about it?
did you read the it's I was pretty like impressed that they did the Halo Infinite season 1 like the outcomes reports or whatever, and
Mhm.
they released like, and they literally released like the statements that they gave to like the team based on like player feedback, and they're like, players feel X, players feel Y, players feel Z. And they like everything that they put in there was totally like hit the nail on the head. So like you said, they definitely know like what they didn't make it the way they worded it. Like they didn't say like, oh, maybe we should do this, or players like are split on this. They were like, players don't like X. players don't
Mhm.
like why. Like their feedback mechanisms are working very well, and I'm sure a lot of other developers are as well, and we just don't hear it like that. It was the way they presented it that kind of made me go like, oh wow, like they actually like they understand. So it'll
Yeah,
be interesting to see how they, you know, pivot
come
the
back.
pivot the wheel, so to speak. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's just that I think it's just a severe oversight and like just releasing the game. I'm pretty sure 343 wasn't ready to launch the game. It was the 20th anniversary for Xbox. I'm pretty sure Phil P himself, P3 himself, was like, "We need to launch this now. Have this half of the build ready. Call it Season Zero, and then move on from there." And the way I can imagine it, just the way like corpo Microsoft works, Joe Staten himself was just like, "Yep, this looks like the Q&A and the quality assurance after it is good enough to deploy
Mhm.
it, and we'll use that as an early like beta
Yeah.
of sorts to get it out in the market, so that way we can build on top of it." Because he actually rejoined the studio very like late in the
It was
game.
only
I
the
want
last year of development.
yeah, so I'm pretty sure he just spoke the words that Corpo and Microsoft needed to hear to just get the game up and
I
running and out.
think I think too, um, maybe I'm giving them too much benefit of the doubt because it's easy to say like, oh, we expect they know how big Halo was, but in fairness, I don't think they expected Halo Infinite to like blow up the way it did at launch either. Because when it launched, like it was like like a true AAA like gaming giant again, and Halo
Mhm,
4 and 5 didn't see that level of success, especially 5.
mhm.
And even MCC after the what happened with MCC and stuff. So I'm not really sure that they expected like the whole shooter audience to jump on board the way it did. They were probably thinking, well, hopefully in the first or second year we can have this game like with 20 million players, and they got 20 million players in the first month. You know what I mean? So maybe I'm
Mhm.
wrong. Maybe I'm looking at it with rose tinted glasses, but I don't know. It's possible.
Yeah. I agree with you. Like Halo 4 definitely didn't see that success. Like Halo 4's hype, but like I think once everybody realized they got their hands on it without really seeing like a lot of gameplay, they're like, "What is this game?"
Didn't have the
Um,
positive word of mouth. Yeah.
yeah. And then like Halo 5 launched at the wrong time and also in a poor state. No Forge, limited ranked modes and playlists, barely like ranked and socials shared the same exact like playset type, which is weird.
Horrible
Um,
campaign.
yeah, poor campaign. In like late in its game, Halo 5 multiplayer probably would have done so well if it hit PC. I
Yeah,
say
I
that
agree.
positively. Yeah, Halo 5 has the mechanics for it. I don't care what anybody says about classic Halo. I am kind of like reflecting on my perspective on classic Halo gameplay. I'm like, this was fun. This was revolutionary at its time, but goddamn, is it boring? Because I'm playing
Yeah.
games like Apex Legends, where
Yeah.
advanced mechanics and movement are just it shines so
Yeah.
much more. As for Halo Infinite, like there is a little skill involved in that, but like literally all it is just
Positioning mostly,
rotations
and yeah.
and positioning. That's really all it is, and there's people out there for it, and I like that. I'll still play, I'll still have fun, but I'm looking for something new. And Infinite is barely a step, is barely an upgrade from Halo 5 in my personal opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Halo 5, I think you could even argue that Halo Infinite doesn't mean it's worse because I love Halo Infinite, but you could even argue, I think, that the skill ceiling is much lower in Halo Infinite than
Mhm.
Halo 5 because Halo 5 had an insane number of mechanics, and I loved it for that. I think it was a little
Yeah.
ahead of its time, honestly.
It was. It's significant. Like everything from like slide jumping, canceling. Like honestly, Halo 5 in more ways than more ways than one feels like it almost wrote the book for Apex Legends in terms of
Yeah.
advanced movement
Yeah.
mechanics. And then like once you get like thruster jumping and then like lifting inside of that space for Halo 5, you see like so many different kinds of ways you could play the game.
Yeah.
And it's just like I'm really bummed that we no longer have that. It
Yeah.
really does suck. And it also sucks that we're never going to see Halo 5 like make a return
I still think
to
they
its
should add
former
it to
self.
MCC. I don't know why they wouldn't. I also I tweeted this week. I totally think that they should merge Halo MCC and Halo Infinite into one package, and you would never have content complaints like ever again because you would just literally have the entire Halo franchise under
Yeah,
one roof. Do it.
honestly, I'm surprised. If Infinite had came out like probably 5 years ago, I guarantee you, Microsoft would have sold all the games on the Halo like Master Chief app or something like that, and like make you like install the app alone or something like that,
I
not
got
have you go through Steam.
I got into like this major like TikTok brawl because I make a lot of like gaming news TikToks and stuff. And I did one about Halo. It was about Halo Infinite. Yeah, it was about Halo Infinite. I think it was a reaction to the season 2 teaser trailer that they released there. And everybody was sharing their thoughts, and they were, especially on TikTok, like 99% of them were negative. And people were saying, like this game needs to be killed. They need to move on to the next Halo, and blah 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 blah. And like I was explaining, and again, like you said, they're probably kids, but like I was explaining, like this game took like nearly 7 years to make, hundreds of millions of dollars. Like they can't just turn around and just say, oh, we're not going to get an ROI on this. B, if they start a new Halo today, like we're talking like a minimum of, but let's say this one took 7 years, let's say 8 to 9 for the next one. And I was like, this is a 10-year game. And he's like, bro, you're so dumb. You don't understand game development. Halo Infinite only took 3 years to make. And like, like, and these people were just arguing with me nonstop. Like, this is not a 10-year game. Stop quoting Microsoft. They don't know what they're talking about. I'm like, it's literally their product. It's literally
Yeah.
their business. Like,
I don't know what you're talking about, whatever mean to, or they don't know what they're talking about whenever they've quite literally invested, like they've future proofed their own like product
yeah,
to keep doing this. It's not like a hey, keep funding it until we say stop. Like they gave you a budget. Now they have like nothing else but to work with that.
right. They named the
Oh.
goddamn game Infinite, even. Like, there's not irony in that. Like, they planned this game to last, a long time.
Again,
It's
gamers just continue to show their true colors. I'm like, how they just don't get it. Like Fortnite is like probably the best case scenario example of how like you can invest millions into a product and then completely turn it around like
oh
in
yeah,
within a year and a half. I still remember to this day PUBG was like at its peak, and Epic's like, we're making a battle royale with Fortnite, and then literally freaking
they made it in like 2 weeks too. Like they
they made it in like
basically like
2 weeks.
crapped it out. Yeah,
Yeah, and then like also remember like PUBG wanted to like sue
they
Epic
did.
Games for stealing
They did so,
like
and I
their
got thrown out.
yeah, and then like all of a sudden here's Fortnite literally making headlines yet again still because they took out the building
Yeah,
inside of the mode.
it was brilliant. It
Like
got so many
Halo,
people playing again.
people treat like Halo as if it's incapable of doing it. And it's just like, dude, it was capable of doing it at launch, and like, granted, it only lasted a month. It still did it.
Yeah,
Like, who's to say it can't do that again?
I think season 2 it's gonna be successful, and then season 3 will probably be more successful, and I think it will steadily grow from here.
By season 5, everything should be there. Honestly, like that's my expectation. If everything's not there by season 5, and that's a long ass time. At 3, 6, 9, 12. That's like a year and 3 months from
Yeah,
now, or technically just a year from now. By season 5, after the 3 month periodical update, like Forge needs to be there, custom lobbies needs to be there, and ranked needs to be completely fixed and stuff like that. And by
oh
that
yeah,
time, we should have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, like 10 new maps across
yeah,
big team battle and as well as
yeah,
multiplayer. Not to mention, we're more than likely going to get certain affinities version of like Halo Infinite Battle Royale too.
yeah,
So like,
yep,
there's gonna be so much to do in Halo by the
yeah.
time it's like next year,
I'm
literally.
I'm so sick of hearing this argument too, like, oh, like, for any game, and I mean, I seriously mean it, for any game, the X game lost 60% of its player base in 1 month or 2 months. That happens to literally every single game. Like when you release and you're hot and the whole world is playing it, you're going to put up astronomical numbers. And I
And
saw
believe it or
somebody,
not, oh, go
what?
on. No,
I,
no, go on, go on.
I saw somebody tweet out an article just today, and it was from like whatever year Counter-Strike Global Offensive came out, and it was some article saying Counter-Strike Global Offensive loses 60% of its player base in like 3 weeks or something like that. And here we are, how many years later, still one of the biggest games in the world. It's
They
just
literally have a championship series running right now. I was watching it earlier, and I was like,
yeah,
oh my god, such an old game,
yeah,
such an old game. And then like, I love watching like console stands, like like just try to play the role of news and informants of
hmm,
information. It doesn't matter if like your PlayStation or Xbox; those are two of the funniest. Whenever it comes to Nintendo stands, it's
They're all
not even
6 years
standing.
old, so they don't post on the
They just
internet
all
yet.
hate themselves because they feel like they don't have any games to play, despite the fact that they have so many things to play. They have
They're
way
also
more to
playing Breath
play.
of the Wild.
Yes, they're still playing Breath of the Wild. Like it just came out yesterday, but like Nintendo fans like to complain the most about not having anything to play.
There's tons of
Granted, they
Switch
have
games out there.
significantly way more to play than
Yeah.
PlayStation and Xbox. Like they almost have the same exact libraries, on the exception of
Like Call of Duty.
obvious and Call of Duty, and the obvious takes of just like there's no exclusives from those games. But literally, there's so much to do on a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
But like PlayStation, like stands and like Xbox stands on Twitter are the most cringiest people
I know.
like on the planet. Like
No
I love
objectivity
seeing
at all.
no, yeah, absolutely none. Like there's this one guy, his name's like the Red Dragon or something like that. I always like to go on my alt account that I used to like anime and stuff, and I like to call him the Red Herring because all he ever does is just like completely ignore one half of like the agenda of that's what's happening and just like isolate one to like talk a lot of crap about Xbox.
It's like Keemstar. I mean, he does the same crap.
Literally,
like,
yeah.
They just cherry pick one tiny little element and they blow it up, and they totally change
just
the narrative.
For clout. Just for clout.
And it's like an old political tactic, really, but it has taken like mainstream, like everything. Like it's that political campaign strategy from like the last 30 years has been turned into like, anything.
It's like it's like
a
not
war.
even in gaming either. It's literally everywhere, and it's thanks to Twitter, and Daddy Elon's gonna fix it all for us.
Pretty much. Well, did you see that he's no longer joining their board of directors?
What? Shut up. Why?
I swear to God, and this is the reason why. I kid you not. You can Google it. He refused the background check. It's mandatory. He refused it. He won't do a background check.
He's just like what we were talking about. There's no way he's doing this for clout. He's going to go on the board of the directors. He has to.
They said no.
They're taking our freedoms. They're taking away our backgrounds.
They're going to listen to him anyway. That's the thing.
Well, I mean, like, I'm excited to see where Halo goes. The season 2. Season 2 doesn't have anything that's promising, but the leaks do. There's the leak for the Last Man Standing Big Team Battle Mode, which is basically a very miniature battle royale, like 1 versus 24, and it's got respawns included on it too. It literally sounds like whatever it is that Call of Duty's running right now with Warzone. I forgot what it's called, Rebirth Island.
Yeah.
It literally sounds just like that, and I'm pretty stoked about it, to be honest. So
it looks like there's new single player content coming too. That trailer had like some cutscene style stuff. So I don't know what that is, but
they're doing the similar thing to like what Fortnite and Apex do. Whenever they have like new seasons, they just drop new cinematic trailers. But the cinematics are actually taking place inside Halo Infinite's universe.
Narrative.
Yeah, they've said that before the game launched that like they want what players do in multiplayer to impact the story inside of Infinite without it directly involving the Chief or anything like that.
I mean, they kind of did that with 5, didn't they?
No.
Didn't they have some like miniature season storylines? I thought they did.
So in Halo 4, they did have Spartan Ops, and that was like
maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I think you're thinking of Spartan Ops, and Spartan Ops was dog poo poo. It was so bad. Cinematics are pretty cool. I mean, like I don't think we'll ever see a game come out with cinematics like that on a seasonal basis. They were really fun. Such a weird time to like go back. Like if you watch them and you're like, I'm watching Halo, like you're gonna go, what? I'm watching Halo.
Yeah.
But the gameplay was so bad. They just reused like the same assets and campaigns and the same assets from like multiplayer maps. Like there's storylines in Ragnarok, which is the remake of Valhalla, inside of Spartan Ops. It was so bad.
It's basically
and
red versus
multiplayer
blue.
Was that it was a cool idea.
Funny.
Yeah, not funny. It was a cool idea, but it just didn't have like the infrastructure. Like networking was bad, and the story was bad too.
When I retire,
it was them trying to like prop up Spartan Thorn to be where Spartan Lock is, but things happen.
When I retire, I'm going to go back and I'm going to watch the entirety of Red versus Blue, start to finish. That's when I turn, whatever. When I retire, when I'm 87 or whatever, that's what I'm going to do.
They're like, it's always not a bad time to start now, dude.
I just don't have enough time. That's the thing. You know what I started last night? Oh God, I don't know if this is good or bad. So one of my viewers recommended, shout out to Daisho, that I watched this show on Netflix called Guardians of Justice, which is this weird, really freaking weird Um, like I don't. It's like this weird, like low budget. It's like half animated, half live action, half like I guess that's one and a half components, but hybrid, like deranged, like 80s style version of like Justice League. So Diamond Dallas Page plays a Batman ripoff named Nighthawk. It's so freaking like over the top and weird and bizarre, and it starts with their version of Superman committing suicide on national television.
Yeah. What the hell?
And it's so I don't like as I laid there watching this, my wife walks in and there was like T-Rexes with like shooting lasers off their back and like a mecha like Hitler. My wife like literally just looked at me and like with like such disgust, like, what are you watching? And I just oh, I chose that instead of Red versus Blue, I guess. What is my life? I don't know.
What was that one movie where it was like Team America or something like that?
Yeah,
Where
that's
they,
it. Matt Damon.
yeah. It kind of sounds like you just explained that to some
It's kind of
capacity.
like that. Yeah.
Oh man, speaking of shows, Halo TV show.
Oh,
You had some
Christ.
stuff to say about it on Twitter. You want to
Yeah, I've been
elaborate?
reviewing every episode on YouTube too. And man, like to me, like I'm gonna keep watching it and I really don't want to take away from people who are enjoying it. I sincerely don't. Like if people like it, like great. Like I'm fine with it. But it's to me it's not even a Halo show. Like it's Halo only in name. Like and I don't just say that because they changed the story. Like I'm fine with changing the story. Like that's do your own thing. I'm fine with it. But it doesn't feel like Halo at all. The majority of the characters do not feel like their actual, source material, including Master Chief. Um they've totally changed the nature of some of the characters. Like the scene this week with Master Chief like getting like all like upset like a 12-year-old boy because Cortana was introducing herself in front of to the other Spartans, and he's like, "Go away, AI off!" And he's like tweaking out. I was just like, "Oh my god! Like this is this is not what I want." Like, uh
I didn't even watch it.
oh, you go ahead and do it.
I'm probably gonna watch it after the show today, but like I didn't watch it. Like I just sat down and I'm like ready to watch it. I'm like, I don't want to watch it. I'm just gonna play Elden Ring. I can miss this episode.
I've heard some people speculate, and this is totally speculation, that it would be getting received better if it was a binge format because people wouldn't have to wait a week. And right now, fans are like so anxious to see where it's gonna go and see the next episode that it's hurting the show. But I don't know.
Really?
I've seen people say that. I don't. It's all opinion.
I really hate people's taste in shows because even on its own, I think it's bad.
The show.
Yeah, like if I hadn't been a Halo fan, and I'm trying to like take away all my biases I can, I just think the show is just bad.
That's. I don't think it's like awful. Like, but I don't think there's anything there. Like,
It's not the worst thing ever.
that's
For
what I
sure.
mean. Like the acting's not horrible, the writing's not horrible, but it's not good. Like
No,
there's nothing compelling. Like it's just there. Like what
I don't
is
see how I don't see how people are like trying to relate to Chief or quite literally any character in
that's
there.
what I mean. Like and there's basically there's nothing driving the plot. There's no core conflict. Like there is, but there isn't. There's nothing that I'm like, oh man, like this is like what's gonna happen now? Like there's little hints of it and stuff, but it's just like it's just like I'm just watching things happen. I'm just it's like it feels like a space soap opera. Like
It feels like The Walking Dead, but only without the
yeah,
dead. It's just called The
great
Walking.
comparison. Great comparison. Space walking space people.
Walking through space. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, now that I know Cortana's in this episode, I'll probably watch it for sure now. Only
I,
just to see. I'm glad Jen Taylor's in there, like reprising her. Like they originally had some other character
yeah,
and she or some other actress and she had fallen off for some specific reason and Jen Taylor's like, all right, I'm in it. So that's kind of cool at least.
he looked like a weirdo. Yeah, I agree. Frank, he did look like a weirdo. And
Didn't we get to see some Chief cheeks too?
Yeah, and there was a whole. I don't even want to get into it. There was a lot of people. Not that. I'd rather discuss that than people
Cheeks, cheeks.
dressing down Cortana's aesthetic. Like there was a whole debacle about that on Reddit. People discussing her proportions and stuff, and it's just like, guys, like that's one of the things where okay, like you can critique whatever you want about this show. You're not seriously critiquing Cortana's. I'm trying
Jugs.
to. Okay, next week we'll be back.
Okay, so in no way do I want to defend it. What these people are saying, I don't, and it sounds so weird to kind of like
Cortana's
agree
look
to
has
disagree
changed
here.
100 times over the course of the game,
It,
so
they have changed based off of like because one Bungie and Marty O'Donnell's like all like the entire original Bungie crew had really considered just trying to make Cortana as sexually appealing as they could without making it a dead giveaway that she can't be taken seriously. She's the smartest thing in the entire universe, and like of course you can't just treat her like like Laura Croft in the original Tomb Raider. She's got to be taken seriously. And Marty O'Donnell like pointed out, he was just like, we really cared about the design of Cortana. She's like the sexy, super smart person. Like that was his description of Cortana. And then whenever it came to Halo 4, the whole Microsoft acquisition, I think they really reflected on how they can one not introduce things such as Gamergate right into like their games, into their product, which is totally understandable. And that's what we're talking about whenever it comes to those dudes on Reddit talking about like, whoa, Cortana's thighs are typically this thicker. Like,
yeah,
I think I agree. That is really weird.
her face has changed like 6 or 7 times. I mean, like
Well,
the
because of
whole design.
343.
I mean,
And
even
Halo
within
2, Halo 3, she
343's
said the same.
games, and Halo 4 and Infinite, and 5
Well,
and Infinite. I mean,
what I
they
mean
look.
by that is because 343 can't even stick to their own like
Yeah,
expectations.
yeah.
They keep changing it, and I think honestly, and bad take from me if you will agree with it, if you don't disagree, if you do agree with it, but like I think they keep changing it because they're trying to align with the cultural sensitivity on how they have female expectations of protagonists.
I just don't
Um,
care. I mean, like,
yeah, I don't think it matters either. But like, why was it a point to kind of like change it to begin with? That's what the Halo community probably wants to argue. It's just like if it ain't broken, why fix it or
yeah.
attempt to fix it, right?
I mean, Google
The
Halo
old
CE Cortana. To some extent, as technology changes, obviously the model is going to need to be reassessed. Because like literally 2001 video game graphics versus 2021. That's 20 years of technology difference. Modeling a character is gonna look different. But yeah, I
they did a lot of right things though. I think with Halo Infinite in terms of treating Cortana as the character model she was from Halo's 1 and 2, and a
yeah.
little bit of like 4 and like a little bit of 5 too, because you could see that she's got like some sort of like holographic clothing on.
Hmm.
As sort of like where Halo like 2 and 3, Bungie said naked. Even
Yeah.
Halo 4,
With
naked.
code running all over their body. Yeah.
Yeah. So in Halo 5, they're like, put a dress on, you trick. And like pretty much, defined a little bit more on like, what they've envisioned Cortana to look like.
I
So
really hope my
honestly,
wife
like
doesn't listen to this episode. I'm
the
so
only
in
thing that
trouble.
like bothers me, and it's not like
Talking about a holograms performance.
the only thing that bothers me from what I've seen is just like the creepy ass smile that she has, like the perfect pearly blue whites
in
for her teeth.
in motion, I don't think the model looks so bad. Her mouth movements look off though,
Yeah,
based on her
like
speech.
I'm Cortana.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. The rest of it, I think, looked better than I initially thought it would. But my problems with Cortana are not at all the way the character looks in this show. It is absolutely the characterization of her. I don't want to spoil it yet because you haven't watched it, but it's not Cortana. Like I don't want to get in. I don't want to get into it. I'm gonna get pissed off.
Okay.
You haven't watched it yet, so
I'm gonna get pissed off, and you're like, these Reddit guys, they're
no,
pissed off for the wrong reasons.
well, yeah. I mean, like, if you're gonna critique something, like, at least have like some freaking
Let
merit,
people be
other than
horny
like,
on main.
give me my freaking purple hot character. Like, oh my god, like, Jesus Christ, guys.
Let people be horny on main, man.
All right. So, two big franchises. Uh, returns for them were announced this week. So we're getting Remedy, the original Max Payne developer, remaking Max Payne 1 and 2, which I'm really excited for.
Randomly announced, and I know what you're gonna say the other one is. Also randomly announced.
Kingdom Hearts 4.
Yeah, dude. I woke up and I thought the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer was like a fan made trailer.
Joke.
I was like looking at it, I'm like, this is a pretty cool fan made trailer. There's like a lot of work into it, but it looks so weird. And then like
we just discussed Kingdom Hearts last week too.
Yeah, we did.
Mayor
Dang, man. Square Enix, pay us now.
Yeah, they whipped it up after they heard the podcast. They're like, oh damn, people still talking about Kingdom Hearts. I thought the franchise was done. I thought the third one was supposed to be the last one.
No, everyone knew there was a Kingdom Hearts 4 after the third one.
Yeah.
Plus, like, we knew that there was obviously going to be some like Birth 2.0 hybrid remix Sierra two-step edition of the game coming out.
I gotta look up something real quick. This is what was on my phone. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, you can't see it that well. It's the Ugandan Knuckles.
Ugandan Knuckles. Man, I miss VR chat for those days. God, those are. I don't think I'll ever have a gaming moment in my life where I miss like modern gaming at that point. Like, God, it was such a revolution. It was revolutionary for how stupid it was. Like, it's unfair to say that.
Kingdom Hearts 3 sold 5 million copies in its first week, which kind of surprised me. I thought that was kind of going to be on its, heading downhill. But that's really solid. That's really good.
That's how long people have been waiting for that game, man.
Yeah.
Not to mention the Disney game. When was the last time we've got like a solid Disney game? You know, you got characters in there. There's probably a lot of people who are like, I like Disney. My son likes Disney. Give him Disney game. Although Kingdom Hearts 4 is really interesting because they literally put isekai inside of Kingdom Hearts like so many times already. Where
I don't even know who that is.
Isekai is as a plot tool for you die and you're reborn into another world.
Oh, okay.
In Japan, and Kingdom Hearts has done that. When is the podcast using VR chat? Yeah, dude, that'd be so. Dude, I have some of the. I don't even use it in VR. I just use desktop mode. I have the best conversations on VR chat, just like absolutely smashing a White Claw. Anyways, Kingdom Hearts has like always done like this really weird thing of just like Sora is in a coma and now he's rocks. I literally do not follow or understand Kingdom Hearts at all. And you even said it the last week. You can't explain it. Even the people who love the game really can't tell you what the hell's going on.
It's supposed to be stupid. It's Final Fantasy with Disney characters. I mean, like, that's one of the things. Like, I know it's got a very intricate storyline or whatever, but how can you? It's not supposed to be. I feel like it's not supposed to be taken seriously. It's like, okay, we're gonna take Final Fantasy. We're gonna stick fucking Mickey Mouse in there. Like, I mean, like. It's supposed to be fun, you know, like that's the point of it. Are you
familiar with why they do that though?
No, I don't care. It's supposed to be.
I mean, like chat cares. They obviously said they care, right? Chat. I'm gonna talk to you about it anyways because chat said they cared. The creator of the game wanted to get Final Fantasy in more houses. He was like, we need to be able to do more Final Fantasy storytelling to a younger audience. Yeah. They're like, we need a younger audience. And so they pitched the idea and they quite literally did an elevator pitch and they got it running out the door for the PS2, PS3, no, PS3, just PS2. And then just like all things, turned out really well. And then eventually Disney got so big, obviously thanks to The Simpsons calling it out. And then Disney took control of over everything. They put so many roadblocks in front of the developer. And then now Kingdom Hearts 3 came out. The problem with Kingdom Hearts 3, from what I remember, is that it did not do enough like Final Fantasy storytelling. It was mainly about the Disney characters. So,
well, I think this one's gonna be again. I'm hearing, I'm hearing they're going to the Star Wars territory and they're going to Avengers territory now. I'd imagine
with the graphics. Yeah, I'd imagine with the graphics, but I would also imagine that they would probably take a step back from the Disney type of things because that was the biggest frustration with Kingdom Hearts. And I'm pretty sure even Square Enix at this point is just like, is it really worth continuing like the Disney type of thing here? Like contractually, how can we continue to utilize that franchise, those IPs in our game? And is it also like a crutch on our own product? I don't see why anybody would say no to that, so long as they're able to get money through the door. But at the same time, it's just, I'm pretty sure it's a hard task to take care of constantly. and I'm pretty sure that impacts development
Well, I'm
significantly.
sure that's why the story is incomprehensible garbage too, because they're probably trying to work within. They're trying to write this Final Fantasy story, basically, but they're also
Mhm.
trying to work within limitations set by the Disney license and licenses and all those universes. Because Disney's gonna have, well, you can't do this with this character, you can't do that with that character, you can't have this happen in this universe. Like so. It, it's got to be tough for sure,
Yeah.
but
And it might work out for the best. I mean, if I were the developers of the game, I'd say, you know what, finally we've reached that core audience, and maybe it's time to kind of pivot away from that. If they still stick with Disney stuff, and they stuck with like Avengers worlds and as well as Star Wars worlds, now's the best time to do it, because you've got what looks like a complete overhaul or brand new engine to power the game.
yeah.
Because like, I did not even realize that was Sora at the very
Mhm.
beginning. I was like, that's Sora? At
Dude,
first I thought it was Roxas, and I was like, that's not
I
Roxas.
not gonna say what I think. It's gonna get me in trouble. Um, I forgot what I was gonna say though. Some Was it about Kingdom Hearts? I don't know. They didn't announce platforms though. Interestingly enough,
It's got to be a cross plat. Like every
I'm
Kingdom Hearts
sure.
game is
Yeah.
now cross platform. It's even on PC now, isn't it?
Yes, it's
It's on
only Epic
Switch.
Game Store, which some people
Okay.
don't like, but it is what it
Everybody
is.
just download Epic Games Store. You literally get free games. You get more free games from
I
that than you
know.
do Steam. Just
Plus,
fucking download it.
you can use creator codes to support people every time you buy. Uh, I don't know why Steam hasn't done that yet, but I think it's
Steam
great
is
that
already
Epic does.
powerful. They don't need to do anything else,
Yeah,
which is I'm fine with. I'm glad Steam hasn't done the new anything, honestly.
the new anything. It is very reliable. It's the gold standard for me. Um,
But oh, I was gonna say Max Payne remake sounds pretty dope.
did
I've
you
actually
play
never
the
played
original
video
Max
games.
Payne's? Dude, did you play 3? More recent? The whole trilogy is awesome. And the third one wasn't even made by Remedy because Remedy had moved on by then. The original 2 Max Payne games, the first Max Payne came out on PS2. I can't remember if I think Max Payne 2 was also PlayStation 2. Um, those games were like, especially for the time on console, very, very, very mature noir storylines. And I'm really interested to see what Remedy could do with modern tech and storytelling to because at the time the story they were telling was very, very edgy and hard hitting, and in a good way. And I'm curious to see 20 years later if they can rekindle that, or if it's gonna you know I don't want to say get watered down, but kind of get lost because there's so much competition these days. But yeah, I mean the Max Payne games are great. I highly recommend them to everybody, and with
Mhm.
updated gameplay too. Um, I'm psyched. You look like you're looking up something.
I'm looking at this image Maz sent us, actually.
Which one? The Final Fantasy one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they did it on purpose. I think they're
What
leaning
is it?
into the
What is the game on the left?
Final. I think it's a trailer for one of the Final Fantasy games.
The left one? No way.
I think so.
I don't think so. Who the hell was that?
Is Maz still there?
Open original. Let's zoom in here. I haven't seen you for years. 2000, in fact.
He says Kingdom Hearts 4 copying Final Fantasy. I feel like it's a Final Fantasy trailer.
I mean, yes. I don't even know what Final Fantasy game that even is. It's been so
Uh,
long.
I could care less about Final Fantasy. That's an actual quote from an old video, like an old console wars video when Xbox first got Final Fantasy. I forget which game it was, like 12 or 13, I think.
I think it was 13.
And
No, 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 no. It had been 12 or 11, actually.
wasn't 11 an MMO, like their first MMO, or no?
Yeah, it was also on Xbox.
Yeah, but I don't think that was the first one to come. I think it was like 12 or 13. Anyway, I remember this hardcore console warrior response video that blew up back in the day, and it was like, I don't even care if Xbox gets Final Fantasy because Final Fantasy sucks ass now. Just, at that time, it was not doing very well, but 14 has definitely rekindled the
I've been wanting to play
franchise.
it too, man. I've been like,
I
Elden Ring has
can't.
been saving me from doing it. I
I
understand why you can't.
Final Fantasy, the the universe is too generic for me. I don't like it.
Socially, I love the game. I love just interacting and hanging out with people and that, getting on with my friends. It's literally the only reason why I would play that and fishing. I love fishing in that game. But I also don't want to spend $50 a month on that game. Like it should quite
It
literally be
costs that
either.
much?
Yeah, dude,
What?
$50 per month. It's insane.
That is insane.
And what's super annoying too, this actually like grinds my gears a lot than it probably should. I do
That's
not
such a
like the fact
28-year-old man comment. Like
I
grinds
don't
my
like that I have to
gears.
keep I have to keep typing in my password to log in.
Oh,
It doesn't remember.
that's funny.
And there's like a one-time login code that you can use, but like you have to maintain that code. And I'm like, I don't want to do that.
I have literally deleted apps off my phone that when I go to log in and I log in and I can't remember my password, I'm just like, F this, I'm done. I'm
Done with it.
not going through the process of recovering my password. I'm deleting the app, never going back. You know what the most recent one was? I tried to sign up for the Rainbow Six mobile beta, alpha or beta, because they announced Rainbow Six Mobile, and I was like, I could give that a try. I'm down, like that seems like the gameplay would translate well. And I have this pretty nice backbone mobile controller here that I haven't got to
Oh,
use
that's
a
pretty
lot.
cool.
It's like $80. It's really nice. It like expands to fit your phone. And
How does it feel? Is it like a good? Is it like a good
it's
plastic?
yeah, it's really nice. Yeah, it's very nice.
I want to be able to buy it so I could play Pokemon Unite on my phone,
Yeah,
but I don't know if it's like worth an $80 investment.
that's
Plus,
the
I don't even
thing.
know if it'll work.
Yeah. What phone do you have?
I have an iPhone, but like the game may not support it.
Oh yeah, some games don't. Most do. But
Pokemon Unite does not.
I went to sign up for the stupid Rainbow Six mobile beta, and it said log into your Uplay account. I was like, nope. I didn't even bother. Like I was like, I could play this game and like do a video giving impressions, and I'd probably get like pretty good, um, you know, like views and stuff. And I was like, yep, Uplay, not gonna happen. Just no.
Oh my god, I still can't believe they're still running with that.
I know.
Speaking of Uplay and like Rainbow Six Ghost Recon Breakpoint, was it called?
Yes.
No, yeah, they did
Shut it
their
down.
NFT thing and now they're shutting down the game.
Yeah. What a ripoff. Like, and those NFTs, I believe you had to have like over 500 hours or something like that into like a very specific activity to even like have access to them. Then you had to pay some outrageous price for them. And then not only were the NFTs like literal trash, like it was like a helmet with like a number on the side, like literally, like I'm number 79, I'm number 113, like that's the number of my NFT. Shut it down. And Ubisoft's like number one on my trash publisher list, I think, this last year or two.
Does EA get the pass because respawn?
Pretty much. And I mean, they fall short in a lot of categories too. I mean, Battlefield 2042 is a freaking flaming disaster. But everything Ubisoft has done for like the past 2-3 years, with the exception of Rainbow Six Siege, which was a massive success. I mean, everything has just been a misstep, from Hyperscape, their failed battle royale, to Ghost Recon, to they've made a bunch of, the Division started strong and then they squandered that. That new
That was such an interesting time, like era of gaming. Destiny came out, and all of a sudden, like the Destiny copies, like out of like the blue,
I still
just kept
think
appearing.
that their Dark Zone concept is awesome, and not enough games have tried to um copy that kind of thing.
Dark Zone is like where you could go in and like just PvP and is enabled, right?
It was, yeah, it was the same game. So there was like all these like like elite NPCs you could kill and get loot from, and then but there was PvP was enabled too. So if somebody killed a boss and that person killed you, like you dropped the loot that you just got. Okay, now they're running around with the loot that you just got, so you would have to try to hunt them down and get the loot back before they extract it out with it. And so I had a really cool like Tarkov like dynamic before Tarkov, and I think that it even up the stakes are better than like the Tarkov style games, because you actually have loot that would permanently go forward with your character, not just like that gun was cool and now I died and it's gone forever. Like, had permanent stakes. I always thought the Destiny would do something to copy it, but they still haven't.
Yeah. Man, it's been a while since I've heard Destiny do anything cool lately too. I guess the game's finally slowing down.
Oh,
As most say.
Witch Queen was a big success, so
Oh,
we'll
that's
see.
good.
Yeah,
Good for Bungie. Good for Bungie.
I think people say it is literally the best expansion, surpassing Taken King from back in the day.
360.
Was that? Yeah,
Oh
that was
man,
360, wasn't it? Was it?
it was. No,
No,
wait,
that was
Taken King?
Xbox One. It had to be.
Oh, I mean, like, yeah, Xbox One, 360. Like, the Destiny was also on 360
Yeah,
and
yeah, it
PS3.
was.
Weirdly enough.
And it caused problems for the developers because it was really hard to maintain those old versions. My camera's on the other side, by the way, because Discord does that. I don't know why. Discord just displays it in the opposite angle. So this is really interesting, and I know you and I rag on Sony a lot, but I'm curious what you think about this, because for whatever reason on forums, people still talk about the Vita, like a PlayStation Vita, like all the time. I feel I see it mentioned a lot personally, and I always laugh. But so the former PlayStation president Jim Ryan came out this week, and he said that
Former or Sean Layden?
it wasn't Sean Layden.
Ryan is the current is the
Okay,
current
so it's
president.
not him, but I don't think it was Sean Layden either. Maybe
Okay.
maybe I'm getting names confused. It could be either one. We'd have to Google it to get it right, but not the current one. I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jim Ryan's the current one. Yeah.
So it wasn't him. So he said that he wishes that Sony supported the PlayStation Vita more, and that he felt that it basically just got like orphaned and eventually sent to die. And I'm wondering what you think about this, because handheld gaming has had a weird decade. I would say a very transformational decade. Not weird in a bad way, just drastic changes to the handheld market. And he was kind of saying, like, Sony handhelds could still be around to this day if we did things differently. And I just wonder what you think about that. If that would have been a good idea or a bad idea.
I don't think it would have worked, to be honest. Like, I don't care what kind of game you put on there. If it didn't have anything valuable to it, because they obviously added some IP to that. They did make an exclusive Uncharted game. They made an exclusive God of War game. They made exclusive Ratchet and Clank games for the PSP. And like, they just never banged because like the PlayStation Studio market had nothing for it to be on mobile. And I still think that is true. Like, I don't think that like I'm not saying that like they don't have the IP to do it. I think that they don't have a strong enough like vision to like put games mobilely, which
Mhm.
is the point of like cloud streaming now. Like that's because you can't format your games or your IP to work properly on a mobile platform, as to where Nintendo has been doing it for literally the entirety of handheld gaming's lifetime.
Mhm.
So like Nintendo gets the pass because they obviously have long-term IP that have shown it can work and that it can evolve, whether that's Pokemon, whether that's Zelda. Like literally, those are the two best case scenarios. Even Mario is a good example. And then with the Steam Deck and like other competitors for that, like there's games that you can play on there. Like there's
Mhm.
a way larger like library of games that you're not restricted to. So now, I mean, like if Sony did support it, I would hope that they would at least double down a little bit more on their like mobile gaming strategy. But like you're like limiting yourself in that space. Like I don't know how you can actually like successfully like tap into the market. And I say that like disappointingly because it's like I love the PSP. I love my
Mhm.
PSP Go also. Those things were pretty cool actually. But I mean awkward software, awkward games, and
Mhm.
overall like not enough like content on it, to be honest. I mean you
Yeah.
can emulate it though.
Yeah.
That was like one of the cooler things you could do with a PSP. It was emulate it and like put anything you wanted on there. So I thought that was pretty cool.
I think they should count their blessings that they killed the Vita when they did, because I agree. I had a PSP, and at the time it was like the slickest device I had ever had. I think I was like 17, 18 years old when it came out, and it was just freaking crazy slick. Um, but the games never seemed there was a lot of decent games for it. Like I remember being super mad that Konami released some exclusive Metal Gear games for the PlayStation, PSP, and Vita. Um, and I've heard a lot about the good games that were on it and so on. But like the thing is like I don't think they ever sold enough handhelds to warrant further investment in it. And I feel like this comment is like kind of bizarre because even Nintendo, who has dominated the dedicated handheld market, just saw, okay, maybe we shouldn't continue with like a dedicated handheld. Maybe we should merge the two because smartphones are eating up like literally like 97% of the world's handheld gaming. And if Sony wanted to obviously make mobile games with their franchises for smartphone, I think that's a great idea. I would be in full support of that. But I think they would have Sony would have been flushing money down the toilet to continue with dedicated handhelds, and B, like the main thing that Sony has become known for is their really high quality single player console games on PlayStation 4
Mhm.
and PlayStation 5. And I think if they had their studios split and developing PlayStation Vita projects, some of those games probably would not have been to the level of quality that they have that we've come to know them for. So I think
Yeah.
having that focus on, okay, we have to make great games for this one platform has enabled them to become basically that to become their signature. So I'm
Yeah.
like, if you guys were still out there doing Vita games and screwing around with like handhelds, dedicated handhelds, like I don't think it would have worked. Like Nintendo merged the two, and I think that was genius. I think if
Yeah.
Sony was still trying to do it, I mean, the last time they tried to do it was when their console failed. Well, failed. The PlayStation 3 was a big misstep for them. Um,
Yeah.
so
Well, I think you make a good point, like, just trying to, like, fit your experiences to, um, like, a smaller, like, screen, and that's not to say that the PSP wasn't, like, not a good hardware, like, not good hardware, it was actually pretty solid hardware.
amazing at the time.
So good hardware, like, they put, like, an LCD screen in there too. But the problem was is that, 1, it was expensive as hell. 2, like, didn't really have the games, and it's just, like, it's crazy, like, in comparison to, like, what Nintendo was putting with, like, the 3DS and the just the
Mhm.
DS line.
Yeah,
It's, like, so freaking, like, laughable at, like,
yeah.
how much more successful, like, Nintendo was putting out with, like, just the DS all on its own.
With Picto,
Um,
what was that game? Pictocross or whatever. Like simple,
Yeah,
like
Pictocross.
yeah.
Apparently, like I never really grew up with the DS. I missed out on Pokemon games, specifically Black and White, or not Black and White, Platinum, Brilliant, Diamond and Pearl. I missed out on those games. Those were the only generations that I missed out on. Thankfully, too, they were actually awful. I don't like those Pokemon games, but as far as like once you look at the graphics, it's just like wow, Sony, you've really got some really good looking games I don't
Mhm.
give a crap about.
That and see, that's the thing. And I know there is like with Steam Deck. Uh, I know there is an audience for that. I'm not gonna say there's not, but I would say that it's a niche audience because like if you have a game that like this, like I said, that Sony has become known for, like let's say The Last of Us 2, Ghost of Tsushima, um, God of War Ragnarok, um, do you really want to play that on a 5-inch
Small
screen,
screen?
or do you want to what?
Like on a small screen? Yeah,
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
or
Yeah.
do you want to play it on a 4K TV or your 28-inch monitor or whatever? Do you know your camera's off, by the way?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, just making sure. um, but yeah, I mean, I think those games are made, and I hate to sound like a boomer because I criticize modern filmmakers for this too because they make the same argument about going to movie theaters, that you shouldn't stream movies at home, you should watch them in theaters and so on. And I
I
do.
agree with that.
I mean, I agree with it to an extent, as there is a valuable experience to be had in theaters, but at the same time, you can't argue with the accessibility of watching a movie from home on your couch.
Yes, I can because it's worse, and that people are slowly losing their general interest in like the video file and audio file experiences that you could get at a theater. People don't know until they're told, until they're told, and it sucks. And I think this is a technological digress from what we're seeing
Mhm.
in my culture is that people don't get it. Like I was literally in a discussion on like my alt account for Twitter about people saying
Alt accounts come
watching
up twice now. This podcast.
put myself out there on blast on my main. But like they were saying, watching anime on a mobile phone is the best way to watch anime. And then somebody asked, "Do people actually like watch anime on TVs?" Because I have no idea. and it's a young audience. I'd imagine that
Mhm.
there's probably like a lot of kids out there who don't have like their PlayStation or their whatever the
Yeah.
heck they use to connect to their parents' like
I've
living
seen a
room. I'm
lot of
pretty sure.
kids watching shows on phones.
Yes, and I agree to disagree that watching like anime in particular is best on phones. Like I think that you get the best anime. You obviously get so much with a wider screen, but at the same time, anime does have a problem with audio. It doesn't scale properly to like what you can have like in a surround sound environment. It's very flat, very
Mhm.
tone deaf in a lot of spaces. As to where if you watch Dune on like a 4K TV, it would look great. But also, Dune is also created to enhance the experience of the full surround sound system. So if you're watching Dune on a 4K LGCX, like great, you got the best picture. But now
Mhm.
you're missing out on the additional full value experience. It's like a roller coaster that never goes down,
Yeah.
basically. So I mean, I get it. Like accessibility is always going to be key here,
Right.
but I mean, my biggest good counterpoint to that also is the Batman. I think the Batman movie was fantastic
Mhm.
storyline wise, but we never. I mentioned it in the last podcast we did when I talked about it. We just didn't give the Nolan widescreen shots. That's Nolan's way of doing every
I
movie
wish
ever.
Chris
I
Nolan
get
would
that.
die in a fire.
Yeah, but like that's what we got, and it's
Like, they
just
just moved on from that. Yeah.
whatever you feel about Christopher Nolan, just like that wider image of being able to see Gotham is was like I feel like it was so like highly missed because we were they it felt like they filmed it just to be a very up close and personal movie,
Yeah.
and there was just so much Gotham architecture. That's my favorite thing about the movie is that it looked like Gotham. It didn't look
Yeah.
like New York City. It didn't look like Chicago. It looked like Gotham.
Yeah. I just
But
I would not I definitely would not disagree with the fact there are definitely movies that are movie theater experiences. Like I mean Marvel movies I feel are like that. You know, like and not even just the technological side. There's something to be said I think for experiencing certain movies with large groups of people that is also exciting because there's a shared experience there seeing something. Yeah, you know,
mhm.
the moment during Spider-Man No Way Home where you know, all of a sudden, was it? I don't know if it's Andrew Garfield or I think it was Andrew Garfield who showed up first, and then Tobey Maguire comes in second. And hearing the crowd like going, "Oh my god!" losing their mind, like that's genuinely like a cool experience, you know. Um,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I like you said, like I really can't stand like people. I don't want to say I can't stand people. I can't stand the opinion that this is the only way to watch this because there are people who literally like especially younger people maybe the only way they have to watch it is on a phone and they don't have a 4K television in their house or they can't they whatever they can't afford to pay $30 to go see a movie because movie tickets are expensive. So
A movie ticket is $30.
well, you're gonna get the popcorn, you're gonna get the freaking slushy, like, and you're not gonna go alone, so you're gonna have to, go with a friend or, you know,
I mean, like, and I'm not
a
gonna say like
girlfriend or
every movie deserves to be on the silver screen. I mean, I think that there's just some experiences that people don't know that they're missing out on.
oh sure,
Like Albert over here is like in the chat saying like, yeah, like there's some movies that are budget films that that's fine. I don't personally don't give a damn about budget films myself. I'm talking like if we're talking about the next multi-million-dollar budget film, let's just call it Dune 2 because we know that's coming out. Like
Avatar 2.
Avatar 2. Like if they did Endgame 3 for some reason, like imagine like what you're missing out on that specifically. Okay?
Or Attack on Titan, the final season, part 3.
Well, we've already figured that out, and thank God that's not being a movie. A lot of people are like upset about that, and I'm just like,
They're
dude,
gonna,
that's more content.
dude,
More content
watch
for
them
me.
do the final season. They'll do the final season part 3, and then have the finale literally be a movie. It'll be like the fourth part of the fourth.
Then
Drag
I'd
it
be
out that
understandably
long.
mad. Then I'd be understandably mad. But if they did a movie, like I trust them to do it because the same studio just did a Jujutsu Kaisen movie. Awesome. But again, like to my point, audio was awful, even in the theaters for an anime movie.
The only thing that starts to bother me, and I think Christopher Nolan is guilty of this. Um, there are certain people that take the whole like audio sensory experience too far and they actually start to lose sight of like having a good plot in their movie or having a good characters or like like stuff like that because they're so obsessed with the freaking like the audio or like the widescreen shots and Christopher Nolan's movies, I think lately have been guilty of that, losing like what makes a good movie, but well, it's gonna be a hell of a cinematic aspect to it, and it's like, well, don't forget to also make memorable characters.
I think I know what you mean. I think he did it with Leonardo DiCaprio. Let me see here. It's whenever like Leonardo DiCaprio played as a warrior for like an Indian tribe.
Was it that The Revenant? That wasn't his movie though.
Oh, that wasn't him?
No.
Okay. I felt like it tried to do the Nolan thing with, like, the wide scale shots and
Yeah, I don't remember who that was. That was the guy who directed the first season of True Detective. It's an Eastern name, and I can't remember the director's name. I think isn't it Kerry Funkagawa, or I think that's his name.
uh, no, Alejandro Inarritu.
Okay,
I absolutely
yeah,
slandered the hell out of that. But I'm pretty sure they did that just to kinda, like, encapsulate the land because the point of the movie was to kinda, like, generate awareness
yes.
about American history. So I understand that, but
And
damn,
that
that
was
movie was
one of the
boring as hell.
that's exactly one of those movies where everything's insanely high quality from start to finish, but the actual plot and characters of the movie weren't really that compelling. Like, and what really sucks for DiCaprio is he won an Academy Award for that movie, and he actually deserved it for his acting in like 3 or 4 other movies prior to that, and he got robbed every single time. Like, he didn't win for Django, for God's sakes. Like, but he was like literally insane. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, again, really really good. Anyway,
Did you not like Dunkirk?
I didn't even watch Dunkirk because I thought it looked so boring and drab.
Dude, I loved it.
Yeah. I
Such a
can't take
it
one
was
more
very
Tom Hardy movie where he mumbles through his lines.
that was Tom Hardy in there?
Yes, he's one of the pilots. I'm
Oh,
positive.
like, I mean, like, I guess I didn't even realize Tom Hardy was even in it, but I love that movie. The whole entire like, literally only one camera cut, and that was it. And I felt like it was like a mix of what Nolan can do, but also flexing like new ways for him to like just do storytelling. Like, I loved it. I would recommend it actually. Like, I don't think it falls into the same category trope. It is a very quiet movie though, 100%. Like, it's a very quiet movie. It's literally the reenactment of what happened at Dunkirk, and
I
you
think,
can't exactly drive a entire Halo story inside of
yeah.
that, you know.
His next
But
movie
I
is
liked
called
it.
Oppenheimer. And I mean, I am always interested in the movies that he does, but lately they haven't been like hits
Uh,
for me. Because he's made a lot of great movies.
mhm.
He's he's been losing my confidence.
That's fair.
Um, but yeah, his next one's who's the guy who played Scarecrow in Batman Begins, who's got really popular lately. He's the star of his new movie. He was in A Quiet Place too. Oh
I haven't even
God, it's
watched.
bothering me. Peaky Blinders, he's in. Oh, it's bothering me. Somebody in chat has to know the guy's name.
I didn't even
Anyway,
know Scarecrow was in Batman Begins.
yeah, he's the main villain.
I thought Ra's al Ghul
Well,
was
yeah, yeah.
Ra's al
I
Ghul.
mean,
Yeah,
yes.
I don't remember. It's been a long time since Batman Begins. Like, it's actually laughable how long ago Batman
It
Begins
was
was.
quite a while ago. But remember, he's got the serum, like the nerve gas or whatever it is, that he's
Oh,
trying to, and you
okay,
hallucinate
okay.
when you see it, and yeah, I mean, Ra's al Ghul was the main villain overall, but Cillian Murphy, yes, that's his name.
Killian Murphy. Okay, Killian or Cillian?
I think
Cillian.
yeah, he's a good actor. He was in Inception too. He was in Batman Begins, Inception, and now Oppenheimer. So I think it's Nolan's third movie with him in it.
I've never seen Inception, and I've never seen
Inception's good.
Interstellar.
Inception's good. Interstellar is you'll either like it or you'll hate it. I fell kind of in between on it. I was kind of like, it's not bad. It's kind of long, but not bad.
Interstellar scares the hell out of me because it's one of those movies that's just going to make me like think about how big the universe is, and that's like
It's
one of
got
my biggest fears. I
it's
don't
got your
like
home
thinking
state
about
boy
that.
Matt McConaughey, your future governor, in it, man.
God, I can't stand him. Actually, he
what's what
supports Beto O'Rourke. I don't like him already.
what's that line? All right, all right, all right, or whatever.
Right. Something about getting older, girls
He's
stay the same age,
he's
or wait, I
really
get older,
really
girls stay the same age.
he's amazing, and True Detective season 1 is one of my top 10 seasons of any show ever. He's really really good in that. Uh, Other than that, I think
He,
he's hit or miss.
he's a huge hit for me though, at least in the audiobook department, because he actually narrates Hank the Cow Dog.
The hell is that?
Hank the Cow Dog, man, he's the hound dog that supports the ranch. Like he watches everything. The Adventures of
uh,
Hank the Cow Dog, man. You got to
I
be a
kind of
Texan to
think
know
that
that one, I guess.
McConaughey's a little mentally ill, but whatever.
Yeah, he supports Better O'Rourke. I mean, like, why wouldn't you?
I'm surprised by that because I'm not gonna get it out.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
it's
avoid
not.
it for now.
We're over politics podcast from last week.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So E3 is not happening this year. But there's definitely there's like these replacement events. You know, everybody's holding their own event. There's Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest. Gamescom is mixed in there in August. Microsoft has an event in they're planning one in June. Pretty much everybody's planning an event except EA because they know they don't have jack shit to show. So anyway, we're gonna do. I'm gonna call it like our hopes and dreams. Do we want to just do like the big three from like like Sony, Microsoft,
Yeah,
and Nintendo?
yeah.
I mean, we could vary from that if there's one we want to throw out there. But
I mean,
I
like the
think
PC game show is obviously the worst show ever
it's
at E3.
it's
It's
just
never been.
no, yeah, it's not
It's
good.
always like, hey, here's Killing Floor, but not
I've always
every year.
hoped that somebody would come along like Valve or Epic and put together like a really killer show. And if somebody was going to do it at this point, it probably would be Epic, but it still hasn't happened. So let's do for each one, and it can be a more free flowing discussion. We don't have to stick to like rules or guidelines. But like let's try to do like one realistic game that you think will be announced. Like you're like very pretty sure it's going to happen, and one dream game like probably not going to happen or it's a long shot for
Okay, we'll
each
start
one.
with Xbox first because we're clearly not fanboys enough.
Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, I could go first. Realistically, I want to see Perfect Dark. I
Okay.
really hope we get to see some Perfect Dark. I think that's a huge opportunity there. I really hope that it's a stealth-based AAA game. Like that's what I want it to be so bad. And I love the universe, although I do think it's interesting they're taking a completely weird step backwards with what we saw at the last year's Game Awards show. So fingers crossed. Realistically, dreams, Fable.
Well, I mean, Fable does exist. I mean, we
Fable
know it's
does exist.
happening.
I want to see gameplay. I want to
Yeah.
see I want to see another CGI trailer with um
I think we
Jack.
can
I
see an
want to see.
in-engine footage trailer at
Yeah,
this point.
yeah. I feel like we can. Like their team's constantly growing too. Like every
Yeah.
time I'm on Twitter, there's like always like some new person. Like I just joined Fable, and I'm like, all right, cool. Show
Did
me
you
game.
see? Did we discuss the article that came out about? I don't know if it was an article or a rumor, but it was pretty credible either way. That Fable is still like at least like 3 to 4 years off because um this who knows if this is true or not, but that I've heard that they're doing a very good job with it, but because they have literally no RPG experience, that it's taking like a long time because it's not like development isn't basically going the way that they expected it to. They had only made like literally racing games up until this point. So it's not that it's like in development hell, but they're like learning every lesson along the way. Might not
That's
be a bad
interesting.
thing.
Rumor. That's an interesting rumor. I don't know if that's like true though, because like they actually opened up a whole new studio
Yeah.
and like onboarded like brand new people from outside of the
Yeah.
studio too. I'd imagine that like that can't be true. I'm gonna call cap on that one,
I
but
could see it being at least 3
I
years
can
off
see it being
still.
true at the same time though. I want to say maybe 3 years for sure. 3 years is a good time.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if it was 2 years because then I could
It'd be
play it.
cool if it was 6 months. That'd be great.
It'd be cool if it was tomorrow. Just
Yeah,
kidding.
there you go.
But yeah, those are my two: Perfect Dark and Fable.
Realistically, the game's supposed to be out this year. I have no confidence that it will be, but I really want to see Arcane's Redfall. I want to see there was some leaks stuff from that, but Arcane has just been on a tear. I mean, Deathloop was really well received, and this is going to be it's Arcane, B, it's game as a service, 3, it's like got this like co-op shooter kind of thing. I really like co-op shooters. Speaking of like Destiny clones. 4, it's vampires. You know, it's got dark, you know, vampire stuff in it. Can't go wrong there. For my dream game, this one's heavily rumored, so I guess I'll say it's my dream game, but it's been heavily rumored, and that is the Quake reboot. I really want to see id Software. I think because the rumor is id and Machine Games are both working on it, so there will be like a new like, you know, the Doom Eternal team basically is working on a new Neo Quake campaign, but then also obviously you can't do Quake without the fast-paced multiplayer as well. And I love those old school fast-paced multiplayer games. So that's, even though it's not like a dream because it likely is happening, it's not like I can't think of like an old Xbox franchise I'm like dying to see come back that isn't already present. I mean, sequel to the Shadowrun shooter from Xbox 360, which will definitely never happen. But
Brute Force remake.
dude, that was such a, oh my god,
such a dope game, man.
It's supposed to be the Halo killer. Do you remember? That was the first Halo killer, was Brute Force, and it was
That thing is
so
like,
bad.
this is like the 3rd episode Brute Force was brought up, man.
Yeah, dude, no kidding. Go to. There's a new game coming out called Brute Force, and if you look at it, it's like literal like a cartoon platformer. And I have no idea why they named it Brute Force. Like it makes no sense. It's somebody's memeing somewhere and thinking that they're gonna like have all these people Google Brute Force and find their game instead. Like all 3 people who Google Brute Force in 2022.
Microsoft looking at their analytics. Why is Brute Force showing up?
Yeah.
Nobody cared about that game?
You know what's really interesting? I learned this week. Microsoft still owns the Shadowrun IP, but they license it to other people. They also still own the MechWarrior IP, which I had no idea. Yes, but they, you know, allow other people to use it. A new Mech Assault game would be pretty cool.
Wasn't that what's that one game? It was like a card game, also action adventure game. It was supposed to get like a reboot.
Ago?
Phantom something?
Phantom is it not Phantom Abyss? Phantom Break? Phantom?
I think so. Let me see here.
That was not a bad game. Yeah, Google it. They released a upscale version of it like a year or 2 ago. Phantom, what the hell?
Breaker Battlegrounds. Oh, that's
not it. I don't think.
Not it. It was Phantom something though.
Yeah, it's bothering me now.
But you know what I'm talking about? Like, they were supposed to remake the game, and Phil Spencer's like, "Yeah, we couldn't get that to happen, but here's the original game in a Xbox One version."
Yes.
That game confused me. I actually never played it.
That game was not bad, actually. That was one of those weird games where gaming was at a weird time. I think it was just way ahead of its time. Phantom Dust.
Phantom Dust. There you go.
Yeah.
And that weird anime-looking guy.
Yeah. All right, you want to do Sony or Nintendo next?
Let's do Nintendo next.
Oh God. Go ahead.
I think it's obvious. We're gonna see some Pokemon. Pokemon Scarlet, Pokemon Violet.
Pokemon.
I don't need to elaborate on that. I just love Pokemon. Dream though, I would like to actually see a new Metroid game. I would like to see Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, it's about time. It's about time. It's been in development for a long time now.
I'll give it to Nintendo. They've been really good with their announcements and like their release dates, because they'll announce something and that thing's like out like 4 months later. Like Kirby's Dream, the new Kirby Land game, like Forgotten Land.
Yeah,
literally it was announced like a couple months ago. Same thing happened with Metroid Dread just last year.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, they've done that a lot actually. They've like just kind of like they announced something on a Nintendo Direct and they're like, oh, and it's out next month. Like they've done a good job of keeping their games secret and then announcing them in a cool time frame. I guess the realistic one is probably Metroid Prime 4 or Splatoon 3, even though I know Splatoon 3 will be a massive disappointment because their online network sucks. My dream games, I could literally list like 20 for Nintendo because there's so many games that I'd like to see. I think the main ones that come to mind, A new F-Zero. I think a new F-Zero on Switch would be pretty cool with online play. Also, don't think it would take that much effort. And then I'd really like to see more mobile support from Nintendo, and I would probably start it with WarioWare. WarioWare Mobile just makes so much sense.
Okay. I mean, they have WarioWare out already. We got
On
a new
Switch though,
WarioWare
right?
out. Yeah, on Switch.
Yeah, I would like a mobile version of WarioWare.
Interesting. Okay. I would like to see a new Wario Land come out too, actually. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
But I don't know if like Nintendo wants to do that. I'm pretty sure that they're just
I'm
okay with
gonna
Wario being like pushed to the side.
I'm gonna say this as a dream because it literally will never happen. But a sequel to Eternal Darkness would also be sick.
Oh, I thought you were gonna ask for Waluigi to have his own game. Okay, yeah,
Oh
that's
well,
also
well,
that's not gonna happen.
that may also never happen. But Waluigi will get his own game before Eternal Darkness gets a sequel.
Yeah. You know what else won't get a sequel? Mother.
Didn't they make a third one though recently? Like
No,
I
I don't
thought
think so.
I thought 3 came out like not too long ago. Didn't it?
I don't think so, man. I see like memes
Isn't Mother
every
Earthbound? It's the same thing,
yeah,
right?
Mother Earthbound, yeah. Earthbound 3, whatever.
Mother 3 came out in 2006. So must be that's how old I am.
Okay,
Um
Earthbound 3 then. My bad, not Mother 3. Earthbound 3.
isn't Mother and Earthbound the same thing?
Is it?
I thought so.
Mother 3,
I
Earthbound.
think
Okay,
it's
yeah, yeah,
Mother
yeah,
in
you're right,
Japan and Earthbound in the US.
you're right. But it still won't get like another
2006 was the
sequel.
last one. Yeah, long time ago.
It won't get like a sequel anytime soon.
No, probably not.
We're probably
It's
gonna see Bayonetta for Nintendo, actually, now that I think about it.
to be about friggin' time. Uh,
Bayonetta 4. Ow. And Platinum Games, always making bangers.
yeah, Bayonetta,
Always making mommies.
it's good, but it's overrated to me. The style of that game doesn't do it for me. I know some people love it, but
Mhm.
and the whole
I don't get
hair
it
thing
either.
kind of makes me sick to my stomach.
It's definitely weird. It's definitely really weird. Mag
GoldenEye,
2 is my
there
dream. Oh
is
my
a
god.
GoldenEye remake coming or remaster coming. It should be coming. I would say before the end of the year. Not official, but it's happening. You heard it here first. And then you're gonna play it and realize how bad it was back in the day. But I,
Okay. Sony now. Wolverine,
yeah,
realistically. I hope you got it there though, but you know, it kind of realistically makes sense for it to be there.
hmm
Then Dream. I dream for another Uncharted game, but it doesn't have to be a Nathan Drake story.
you couldn't have picked something more boring.
Don't care.
Run of the mill.
Love Uncharted. Love Uncharted. They could bring in Sam, or they can do a
Uganda
like an
Knuckles.
extension of Drake. You got Knuckles. But no, Uncharted. I would love to see another Uncharted game. They are working on something else now, so that's probably not
Hmm.
going to happen.
I I've heard. I think I said this last week that they're doing a. Well, I've heard they've got 2 games, and one of them is like a The Last of Us Division style game. But we'll see.
Yeah.
I've heard they're working on 2 though. For me, this is the most real. I mean, Wolverine, I am looking forward to. But I would say right now it's still not official, but it's basically like we know it's happening because of rumors and the TV show. The new Twisted Metal game, I'm really looking forward to. Still hasn't even been announced, but with a new TV show coming and then the rumors, the developer has been switched already. Um, Pretty credible that a new Twisted Metal's happening. So I'm looking forward to that. And same thing, my dreams are all in that same vein. I think Sony needs to do a better job with um, their multiplayer franchises. And I'm definitely looking forward to what Bungie is working on. They've got several games in development that will probably not be PlayStation exclusive, but they will be PlayStation Studios games. So I am looking forward to what Bungie's doing. And my dreams are probably a new Resistance. I would say would be the one that I really want the most. I feel like that's a
I
very
think
underrated franchise.
pretty sure they got SOCOM coming back here around the loop
That as
too. It's
well.
an opportunity to like take up, you know, a lot of lost ground between Call of Duty and Battlefield too.
And I feel like Rainbow Six Siege is like the go-to like tactical shooter, and that's gonna
Hmm.
burn out. It can't go forever. And I
I
think
think it can.
if they I mean, the way Ubisoft is running their ship, it might be closed down in 6 months. Who knows? But it's still doing very, very well. You're right. Everybody's still talking about that Rainbow Six Extraction game too, right? Yeah. Haha.
We don't talk about that. That's on Game Pass.
Rainbow Six Extraction 2. I think I sent you the article too. It was the Guardians of the Galaxy developer saying that their game was initially a disappointment, but once it hit Game Pass, all of a sudden it found its audience. And we were just debating about a week or two ago about how, you know, subscription models are, you know, they're unsustainable and blah 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 blah. And then here's another developer saying literally our game was ignored until it was on a subscription.
Fans were seething and foaming from the mouth headline. I love Game Pass, man. If it's not for the exclusives, who cares? Like, tired of saying like, oh, what's the point of Game Pass? It's just a gimmick. Microsoft has nothing up their sleeve. Who cares? I get like a bunch of free games for free, bro.
For real. And there's so many, like, they throw in so many random perks in there too. And like Sony could do the same, like we've talked about with like Crunchyroll and stuff. But you get like free crap all the time. Like, here's free Discord Nitro. Here's free Paramount Plus. Here's free like
in-game reward. It's literally like Amazon Prime.
Yeah, it's nuts. Siege 2 is coming out. I don't know when. I feel like Ubisoft backed themselves into a corner, because if they do Siege 2, like, they risk losing the audience of Siege 1 if it's, you know.
I mean, if they do Siege 2, what will happen to Mario versus Rabbids versus Sonic the Hedgehog at the Olympics?
Yeah. I've actually heard those Mario versus Rabbids games are good. But
yeah, I actually heard that too.
But that's probably what's keeping Ubisoft alive right there.
Is Rabbids.
Yeah, the Rabbids versus and Mario crap. That's my dream game. I want Mario versus Rabbids versus Capcom and Tekken.
I'm surprised we haven't seen Mario at the Olympics in a while, haven't we?
Not long enough, man.
Not long enough. Oh man.
It's like, I don't know. We still got like, how many versions of Mario Tennis and Mario Golf and Mario cow tipping can we get? Like, holy crap.
I mean, like, Mario Tennis slaps though.
Mario cow tipping would actually be a great mobile game. I'd buy that. That's Waluigi's game right there. Waluigi's cow tipping. You go out there and you're causing mischief with the cows.
I mean, there could always be like another Luigi's Mansion. I think that's an opportunity.
Luigi's Mansion's severely underrated. Severely.
Yeah, I love playing it on my Switch.
I didn't play the second one, but the first one was the first game I ever bought for GameCube. And at the time, the graphics were literally incredible. Like, because they did that unique, like, side-scrolling but 3D style. It's really, really cool.
It'd be cool. Wait, don't we have another Super Mario Odyssey 2? Isn't Super Mario Odyssey 2 a thing?
I'm not sure, honestly.
Let me double check that, because I would love to have. I've actually never played Odyssey.
Galaxy was the last one I played, I think. I might have played Galaxy 2.
Let's see, Super Mario Odyssey 2. Is that real?
I also recently played one of the new Super Mario Brothers games with my wife's nephew, who's like 4 years old. And the number of times he bubbles when he's the only person left alive, which gives us a game over, is unreal. You know, have you played those games?
Mm-mm.
So you can bubble it, because, you know, it's two players, you know, co-op, like the old Mario games, the side scrollers. Mm-hmm. If you're in a bad situation, which it's a great idea for kids, it's very innovative on Nintendo. You could put yourself in like this little bubble, and then so like if you're in a place where you can't progress, like, you know, you're sucking, you could put yourself in a bubble, and then like Mario or Luigi, whoever you're not, can get through that part and then bust you out of your bubble to continue on. Like, it's like a help me button. But when you're the only player alive and then you bubble yourself, it's game over, because nobody can bust you out of your bubble. And every time there's like a situation where like the 4-year-old kid needs to clutch and he's starting to feel pressure and things are getting crazy on screen, he puts himself in the bubble because he's like, I don't want to die. And then we die, because like he didn't die, but like he just like we you know, it's like, I don't know, it's just funny kid logic. It's like, I'm sorry, I didn't want to die. He's like, well, you did. Like, we just did, man. We got to
You
start
just
over.
did. Oh man.
It's funny though.
My favorite kid logic is watching my roommate's his son, his 8-year-old son. He's been playing Pokemon Arceus on my Switch,
Mhm.
and like it's not on my account. I'm like, you're not ruining my story. You're not ruining my stuff, my adventure. And he's like always constantly coming back into my room. He's like, hey, how do I do this? Because I started him on his dad's account. His dad's account is like a news story, and his son had been watching me play for a couple of hours. And so he's like, hey, how do I swim in the water? And I was like, you need to go get Basque Legion. He goes, how do I do that? I'm like, you need to continue the story. He goes, oh, okay, and he'll like run off. Minutes later, he'll be running through my door again. Like, hey, I ran out of Pokeballs. I was like, you need to go make some. He goes, how do I do that? I was like, you gotta like craft them or you gotta
Yeah.
go buy them. And so he was just like, can you help me? And I was like, well, let's go look at it. And I'll like show him what he needs to do. And then he'll come back like an hour later. He goes, hey, I can't. Where do I get the word here? That's like the kid, like the Pokemon that you run around and like
Mhm.
move faster on the map. And I'm like, you have to complete the story, dude. And he goes, I don't know how to do that. I was like, Jonah, have you ever finished a video game? He goes, yeah. I was like, name one. And he's like, he couldn't say anything.
I
He's
don't
like,
think
I've
kids
beaten.
finish games anymore.
I don't think they do finish games anymore. I used to complete games all the freaking time. Now I can't finish games because I
Yeah.
have so much
The
to do.
play. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I'm just like, Jonah, like, do you know what seeing the credits means? And he goes, no. And I'm like, then you've never beaten a game.
Yeah. Well, and most games these days, in fairness to a lot of kids, they don't have endings. I mean, they're games as a service that are meant, Destiny or
Yeah.
Fortnite, ongoing narratives that just never ever end.
Hmm.
And I think that's the world that a lot of these kids kind of live in.
So far, like what I know he does play, he's definitely played Fortnite. He plays Valorant on his dad's account, and that's about it.
Yeah.
He has Pokemon Shining Pearl, and like I kept telling him, like, hey, you need to go here, you need to go here. Like, look at what the map tells you to do. Then he started playing Pokemon Sword. He's like, hey, I don't know where to go. I'm like, there's a flag right here on your freaking map. Go to the flag, dude. Go to the flag. I was like, I know you know how to read this map because you were showing me how you were reading it last time.
I
I
know
know you
you
can
know
see
how to
that
do
flag.
this.
And he's like, yeah, but I don't. He's like, I went to the flag, but I don't know where to go. What building? I was like, hover over the flag. And he doesn't even know hover over the flag. It just said at the bottom in text, visit this person at this restaurant. And I'm like, come on, kid, read.
I know that I love the things that kids. I don't love it actually. It's actually pissed me off numerous times. The kids fixate on games too, and I don't want to be toxic about kids playing games, but so like whenever we finished a level, this kid, he and I think I was this way when I was a kid too. But when I was an adult, he's super obsessive about, when you jump on the flagpoles at the end of a Mario level, he's super
Yeah.
obsessive about getting as high as he can. And I'm like I just jumped on one time, like I didn't care. We finished the level, and
Wait,
he's and he's like, why did you jump down there? He was like so upset. And I was like, we beat the level, dude. Like it doesn't matter. And he's like, no,
but
you're
you get
supposed to
more
jump
points.
high. Yeah, and I'm
I'm
like,
with the kid on this one,
and,
actually.
and I'm like, I have literally played like hundreds of these Mario games for like hundreds of hours. I don't care anymore. Like we beat the
I
level,
guess
we're
that's
good,
fair.
dude. Uh,
Chaotic evil, though, Mayor. Like, you're supposed to get there as high as you at
I
least
know,
try.
and
At least try.
I
That
was
would have been like a chaotic neutral for you.
I just didn't expect that reaction at all. Like I thought we finished the level, like he was gonna be excited, and he's like, why
The
did you
one
jump
time
down there?
the kid was objectively correct, though.
Yeah, he was, and the other one, the kid was not correct, and Witchy will notice this one because she watched my stream. I played Fortnite with a couple of younger kids, um, and they were obsessing over like the crowns. Do you know what the crowns are in Fortnite?
Yeah.
Like if you won your last game or whatever, you start with a crown, and if you get killed, your crown drops. The
Mhm.
kids were obsessing. Get the crown, get the crown, get the crown. And so many times they would get the crown and they'd put themselves in a horrible position and die. They'd get the crown and then they would we'd die. And I was like, the point is to win the game. Like if you win the game with the crown, cool. But like if you just died because you got the crown, I actually freaked out. I had this moment where I was like, if I hear you guys talk about those crowns one more time, like I'm literally gonna lose it. Like forget the crowns. And like everybody got kind of quiet for a minute. Like they
Oh
stopped
man,
talking about them so much.
our Uncle Mayor with his schizophrenia, just talking to like his 20 other people to like let the kids either just chill out, get the crown, or just like get the kids to shut up
Well,
about the crown.
I'm naturally competitive, and I'm like I had fun playing with him. I honestly did. Like I get small joys out of even if it's not the way I see the game, seeing the way that kids see the game, and I
Mhm.
think there's something like enjoyable about that. Um,
There's a preparation you have to go in there
but
too.
in a
Like if you
competitive
put me
game,
in,
it's like,
yeah. If I was in like a pooper account for like Apex, like for Fortnite or Apex, if I play like let's just Fortnite for example, if I had like a high level, high elo like Fortnite account, I would make a burner account just to play with kids, so that way
yeah,
I could just like mess around. But
yeah,
I know I'm very specific of how I use my time, so I could probably like hang out with the kids for maybe an hour tops and be like,
yeah,
done, bye.
yeah. uh,
I'm not
yeah.
ready for kids. I'm my own baby.
All right,
Plus, I
so
already have my fur baby. Where the hell is she?
she's
Yuki?
behind that. She's behind that pillow. There she is.
I can't see her at all.
I've seen her
You see
pop
her
up a
little
few
snoot?
times. I've
Did you
seen her.
see her
Yeah, she's
snoot?
like, yeah. So I'm thinking because we did the E3 thing, we don't need to do a don't miss it this week. We talked about a lot of games coming up and already announced and stuff. And then there's also like
Yeah.
nothing good releasing this week at all. So
It's about time these games stop being games and let me play the games I'm
for
still trying to
real,
complete.
man. Let me finish Elden Ring because I still got like 150 hours to go, I think.
Oh, God, every time like I get the Skyrim effect every time I'm playing Elden Ring. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna follow Grace. I'm gonna go where I need to, and then like there I am, like looking for
I
more
just
caves and
ride
stuff.
around for hours. Yes. That's
Yeah.
basically all I've done.
What I've been doing, I've at least narrowed on this mindset, is to just try and complete as much as the first map that I can.
Yeah.
I want to try and find every map that I can, just so I can have the map complete, and my OCD
So
temperaments can
I
just
was
chill.
talking to a friend of mine who's a big Souls fanatic, and he's playing Elden Ring, of course. And I was actually far ahead of him at first because like his job was taking a lot of time away from him and stuff. And he's like the hardcore Souls guy, and it was like killing him that I think that I was like ahead of him. So now I stopped playing it for like 3 weeks, and he's like, "How far did you get? Like, how much of the map did you uncover?" And I was like, "I think I got basically like the whole thing." And he's like, "Send me a screenshot of your map." So I sent him a screenshot, and he's like, "Dude, that's not even like 1/3 of the game. Like you still have so much to uncover." And I was like, I've literally spent 30 hours riding around, like uncovering this map, and you're telling me I still have like 2/3 more to go. Like it was almost like disheartening. I was like, I haven't progressed at all. Like I'm never gonna finish this game.
Yeah, my I know exactly what you mean, man. I was looking on Twitter, and Hidden Xperia, Halo War guy. He's like, I've literally put over like 100 hours into this game. He's like, I just discovered a place I've never been to.
Yeah,
I was like,
crazy.
wow. I'm like, I'm still trying to like find the time to sit down and play the game. I finally reached the point in my life where I'm like too tired for video games.
Boomer.
I'm also just like just sincerely like not interested to play anything at the moment too,
28-year-old
competitively as well.
boomer.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I'm
like
trying.
competitively, there's nothing I want to play. I mean, Apex is kind of like filling that void, just very little, very
I might
slightly.
try to hit Masters in Apex this season.
Mhm.
I just hit Plat, and the split only started a week ago, so we'll
And I hit
see.
plat literally like the last week of the first split, and
Yeah,
now I'm gold 3 right now.
yeah. I might try. I love Kings Canyon, which is funny because everybody else hates it.
Really?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love
it's
Kings
awful,
Canyon.
bro. It
No,
is absolute
I
ass.
love it. I love it. I delete
Strategy.
Stormpoint from the game. I can't
Yeah,
stand
Stone
that
Point me
map.
though.
Olympus is
Um,
okay. World's Edge is a good map.
Edge is a good map. It's funny for the community that we run for my work. I was like trying to get people to like play new map because all they want to do is play World's Edge
Yeah.
because that's the competitive go-to map, I guess. And I was like, hey, react to these emojis, and we'll probably run that, or we'll split it depending if like the ratio is 50-50. Literally, like everyone was just like, why did you even bother putting in Storm Point in there?
I don't know. I yeah, I don't want to talk about Stormpoint. All right. So I think that's our show for this week. You got anything
Yeah.
else?
No, I think that's about it. It's so interesting because next week, what can possibly happen in the next
PAX
few
is
days
next.
besides the next worst Halo episode?
PAX won't be for our next episode, but the one after that, I will have gone to PAX. And Gearbox has a big showcase there. Skybound, the Walking Dead company, the game version, has a big showcase. So hopefully we'll get something cool out of there.
Wasn't there supposed to be like a Killing Floor like Walking Dead game, or a Payday? I mean, Walking Dead game by the same
I
people who
think
made
it came
Payday.
out already. I think
Huh.
so. Wasn't it a VR game or no?
I don't know. I just
Yeah, I
remember
don't
the
know.
guys from Payday were making a Walking Dead game. I was like, that sounds
You're
cool.
definitely right. I just it's bothering me. What's their name again?
Payday?
I can't remember the developer's name though.
I don't remember them. I don't remember them.
Yeah,
I just
it
genuinely
already
don't
came
know.
out.
Okay.
Uh,
And they announced that at
Walking
like
Dead
Walking Dead peak too, and then
Overkill.
Walking Dead died. Overkill. There you go. Yeah.
The number one article that comes up is how it all went wrong. The Walking Dead Overkill. The tragedy of Overkill's The Walking Dead.
There's a Babylon Bee article that headlines Overkill's Walking Dead game dies just the same way as Glenn dies.
What? Who?
Glenn
Who's Glenn?
from Walking Dead.
Glenn. Okay, at least said Glenn. Yeah. Spoilers. Starbreeze is basically out of business at this point, from what I've heard, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they'll pull another Chronicles of Riddick game out of there.
Those were actually pretty fun games, though.
Back in the day, yeah, they were good.
Yeah, back in the day, they were pretty fun. They made another one that actually wasn't like the most recent one wasn't bad either.
A new gig. His career's not going so well.
Yeah, because The Rock keeps ruining it for him.
The Rock's out now, though. The final movie, The Rock's out. Vin Diesel's in, but The Rock's out.
How many Fast movies are there now? I don't even remember anymore.
I think it's the 10th mainline one, but there's all those spin-offs too.
Yeah, there's like Joseph Statham and like The Rock, right? And Jekyll and Hyde.
I don't know what it's called, but yeah, Jason Statham. You called him Joseph. This is like the new Jack Snyder.
Jason Statham.
Jack Snyder, Joseph
Jack Snyder.
It's not as bad as my whatever I said, USNC or whatever I called it, or the one day.
Don't let the weeb ever have like any opinions on real life movies. Apparently, okay.
You?
Yeah, me. I love Nolan, probably because I don't get enough of like the shots that anime doesn't give me. And if they do, they're probably like super low tier anyways.
Hey,
all right, though. I'm ready for this day to end. I need to go play Elden Ring.
Yeah, all right. Happy birthday, Jedi, in 2 hours.
Oh, 2 hours for you. That's right.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Well, a few hours 9. For you. But all right, we'll see you next week, next Monday, 7 p.m. Central.
What the hell is this?
See you guys. These are sponsors. Y'all.